From time to time, I post about an obsession of mine, and I call it Zigzag Think. It's quite difficult to explain what it is, so I like to give examples. And here is one of my favorites. About a century ago, in the United States, mail order catalogs were the way that almost everyone purchased everyday items for their lives, rather like Amazon on the internet today. And there were 2 or 3 rival mail order companies, and their modus operandi, the way they got their information to the people in towns, villages and hamlets and farmsteads all over the United States, was by printing very expensive, very elaborate catalogs and circulating them for free. Companies like Sears and Roebuck and Abercrombie and Fitch and others would produce these things, and some of them were inches thick, and they were very expensive to produce, as I've said. The danger, though, was that these catalogs that would arrive in different people's houses at different times would be often dusted and fusted away by tidying housewives. They were always the same size, and because they were always the same size, housewives in particular would stack them neatly on sideboards and coffee tables, and that meant that a company like Sears and Roebuck, who had spent so much money to circulate this thing, would find that their product would be put at the very bottom or in the middle or sometimes at the top, but rarely. Then someone at Sears and Roebuck had a genius Zigzag Think idea. It's one of my absolute favorites in Zigzag Think, and it's this. So simple, so clever. They knew that when American housewives, whether they be in farmsteads or hamlets or towns or cities, when they were tidying, they would tend to just quickly tidy the stack, putting the smaller catalogs and publications at the top. And so someone at Sears and Roebuck asked the printer who was printing their catalogs to cut the borders of the catalogs about 1/3 of an inch smaller than the other catalogs produced by other firms. It doesn't sound like much at all, but it meant that when mothers and housewives were tidying the catalogs sent by mail order companies, they wanted to be neat, so they always placed the smaller Sears and Roebuck catalog on the top. And because of that, it was looked at more often. And then, of course, there were more sales. And Sears and Roebuck is the company we're talking about now, and not any of the others that went belly up. So that, my friends, is another example of Zigzag Think.